Welcome to another edition of the Burrow podcast. I'm your host, Josh, and joining me today is my co-host, CJ. Unfortunately, his camera's not working, but we'll make do today and we can actually hear him. So, how you doing, CJ, after last night's win?
Yeah, good, Josh. Voice is still recovering, but nah, it was all worth it, and yeah, just gonna take it easy this weekend, I think.
Well, last night we ended up beating the Broncos 22 to 14. Our try scorers were Saliva Havili in the 42nd minute, in the 51st minute, Isaiah Tass, and right on full time in the 79th minute was Latrell Mitchell. He also kicked 4 from 4 and got that beautiful 2 point field goal. So,
Unbelievable that was in the wet.
yeah, always. I don't think I've seen a better field goal from anyone. What about yourself, CJ?
It kind of reminded me of the Chris Sandow field goal against, I believe, it was the Roosters.
That's right. That was in Golden Point.
They gave me some reminiscence of that.
Yeah, that would have been back in, what was it, 2011 or something like
I,
that. That
I
was.
believe so.
Yeah, and then there's the Nathan Merritt one at the SCG against the Tigers. He
Right,
did that from the sideline, and that was right on full time. That was another great one.
but
So,
yeah, to see that live in the wet, I don't think you see that for a long time.
oh no, as I said, no, I don't think you see anyone nail that like he does. So anyway, we'll go on to a few of the stats from last night. The possession, we had 51% of the possession, 80% completion rate. And again, we always talk about the completion rate and how important that is. 80% or more, we usually win our games. So that's another impressive stat there.
Yeah, very valuable to have dominant ball possession and make sure that we are completing our sets, especially when it does get to that sort of weather, when it starts to rain. And, the more you dominate possession, the more chances you are likely to score. And I think that's something that we've struggled with the last few years is our handling. But, yeah, it's looking better each week, so keep it up, I say.
Yeah, well, a few of these stats kind of don't make sense when you look at it. The Broncos had 1,777, whereas we had 1,555 run meters. Um, there was 9 line breaks to the Broncos to our 3. Tackle breaks were 29.19, and the average set they were averaging 42 meters a set, where we're averaging under 35 meters a set. Um, then you had the offloads; it was 13.8 to the Broncos. They're just some of the, and then you had things like the missed tackles. We had 29 missed tackles to their 19, but on the stat account, we won, and that was on the scoreboard.
Yeah, it sounds like the Broncos were predominantly better on stats. But I think that shows the character of our team. That despite the stats against us, we've still come up with the win, and yeah, that's what matters at the end of the day.
I feel like a lot of those stats were lopsided by halftime, so that's where it was 14-0, and we come back from 14-0 down. So that was impressive fight back by the team, wasn't it?
Oh, it definitely was. Still remembering the amount of attacking power we have out. Cody Walker, Jack White, and Alex Johnson, Ty Munro, those sort of players to add extra points to your team, and to have them out and to come from 14-0 down. It's a credit to everyone on the field last night. It really is.
Well, we look here at some of the player stats, and we first go on the run meters, and you're looking at uh, so the top run meter for us was Keon,
Yep.
who played in the middle. He played front row, which last year when we saw him play in the middle, how impressive he was. So he made over 200 meters, and
Yeah, I
how
was
important.
really big fan of that move, and I would not mind at all if that's next week's lineup
Well,
as well.
how important is it to have a front rower that can play 70 plus minutes of the game and make over 200 meters?
Very important. I think we've lacked that the last couple of years, to be completely honest. And to have someone like Keon do that for us, it shows it made a difference. The line speed was much better. We're making more meters up the field, and a lot of that was off the back of Keon. So
Well, we've actually spoken before about the lack of meters made by our forwards, and I think for about 3 weeks in a row, we didn't have anyone make over 100 meters until last week. I think Against the Storm, I think Keon was able to make just over 100. He was the only one in a space of 3 weeks. And last week we had a few, but even this week we had Jai Arrow made over 100. Lockie Hubner, Ewan Aiken all made over 100 metres and did their job.
Yeah, that's the main thing. We need our forwards to be doing that consistently now. It's hard to lay a platform when your forwards aren't, well, going forward. So, more performances like that, and, well, the results show for itself last night.
Mm. Well, on the defensive side, Ewan Aiken again, he moves to his more familiar position of back row and 48 tackles, and that coincides with the game against the Storm where he made 50 tackles. Keon in the middle made 37 tackles on top of his 200 plus metres. Lockie Hubner, 29. Tallis Duncan, 29. And Jaden Sullivan, 29. And some of them were very important, the tackles there by Bud Sullivan.
Yeah, Bud Sullivan, he had a bit of a rusty first half, but he made up with it with his defensive efforts. Wayne gave him good credit in the press conference yesterday. And I want to touch on Ewan Aiken as well. I thought he was actually really, I think back row is where we should keep him from now on. But yeah, it's good reading better defensive stats from multiple players instead of one or two. So that just, gives you more confidence.
It definitely shows you it was a team effort there. And we speak, a few weeks ago we were talking about players playing out of position, and it just didn't work, did it?
No, it didn't. Unfortunately, some of that's off the back of the injuries, which is out of our control. But, what Wayne's done is he's made it work, which, well, that's on him, which is great. And yeah, playing players out of position, well, it's never going to work out ideally, is it?
No, it definitely showed, and you're weakening other positions to try and get something somewhere else. And in the end, I thought Wayne pulled the right reins this week in especially moving Keon and Jai in the middle. I thought Jai was another one that relished the playing prop and not having to worry about ball playing. He just knew his job was to tuck the ball and run up and then tackle hard in the middle. It certainly suited him as well as Keon.
Yep, and that's what our fans have been calling for years, for Jai to go to the middle up front. And yeah, if it's a permanent move, I'm definitely not against it, because I'm also one of those fans who think that should be his main spot.
And an interesting one was Jai Gray coming off the bench and having a 12-minute stint at hooker. How did you think that went?
Look, in my opinion, I wasn't really a fan of it. 12 minutes at hooker, it doesn't really add anything. It didn't really impact the game too much, I thought anyway. But obviously, Jai Gray in defence was good, but we all know that he's capable of much more. I don't think he should be hooker. I think I should have gone to Bud Sullivan, and we should have moved Gray to 5'8".
Well, that was definitely an option, but it did serve a purpose. It was there to give Saliva a break because we spoke about it on our podcast the other day in the team list that Saliva's not an 80-minute hooker, so he was able to have a
No, he's
break.
not.
And what do you make of Saliva's game?
I was actually impressed with Saliva's game. Obviously, he's not an 80-minute hooker, but for what he done, I thought he did his role well the time that he had. Even scored a try, which is rare of him to score a try, but did his role very well, Saliva. And if Mamazolis is out for 6 to 8 weeks, and say Brandon Smith's in within that time, I still keep Havili at 9. Yeah,
Yeah,
I was really impressed with Havili last night.
well, we'll talk a bit further about Brandon Smith and the possible, coming early to us, but even if he does come, he's still 6 weeks away, which is the same kind of time frame with Pete Mamazelis. But just talking about that try to Saliva Havili, the run beforehand by Bud Sullivan was instrumental in that try and a quick play of the ball, which gave Saliva the opportunity to get there and get the Broncos on the back foot. And even still, he had work to do, and they kind of had him up, but then he snuck the ball down and was able to get it down, which put us on the scoreboard.
Well, thank goodness from that run from Bud Sullivan. I don't know if we really get that try, but it was a crucial try. 14-0, we needed that first try in the second half. And Havili, out of all people, which is it's good for him, delivered. And No, it's good to see Saliva go over and it sparked a comeback that you could see the shift in energy right after they scored.
Well, the next try was to Isaiah Tass, and the ball went out, and Jamie Humphries passed it to Tass, and it was one on one with Katoni Staggs. He brushed him off. Then he was able to get the ball off to Fletcher Myers, and in that same time, I think it was Dean Mariner had him tackled, but let go, which was enabled Tass to go through and follow through in support and get the ball back to score an important try, which ended up putting us within 2 points.
Yeah, and I think that was the try that really got us going. Isaiah Tass's one. Yeah, defending off Tony Staggs isn't an easy task whatsoever. So to be able to do that, go over, score a try like that, I think that's the try that really shifted the momentum our way, evidently. So, yeah, and Isaiah Tass this year, he's had his critics, but he's scored a couple tries this year in some crucial parts of the game, and that's why he's in this lineup. So,
Well, two of his tries this year has been the match winner. So he's also equal top try scorer for us this year at the moment.
so yeah, no, Tass, another solid game from him. I thought can't complain.
Well, he was in his familiar role of playing left centre. He's been thrown around playing wing, right centre, left centre, where he looks right at home here at left centre, although he's warming that spot for Jack Whiten, isn't he?
Well, yeah, it's just cover for Jack, but yeah, he's been in every position in the back line this year. It feels like, except for fullback, he's been right, left, winger, centre. But at least we know that he can cover those spots if injury tolls do happen again. And he's been reliable. He's not been too bad, I don't think, anyway. So yeah, Tass. There's a reason why we signed him on a long-term contract last year because he is a good talent and he's shown that this year. I actually have a high opinion of Isaiah Tass.
Yeah, well, we had a couple of big inclusions this week, which couldn't come soon enough, and that's Jamie Humphries and the man of the moment, which we've held off talking about him now, is Latrell Mitchell.
Yeah, Jamie Humphries, you see, he's only played 6 games of NRL, something like that, but he seems so experienced and he has such an influence on the team, the way he steers around. His kicking game was missed, I thought,
Well,
when he was out.
in those games that he's played, he's only lost one game, and that was against the Sharks. So he's actually got a good win loss record for us.
Yeah, so he steers the team around very well, Jamie, and that's why it's exciting to see what sort of play he can turn into in the next few years. If he's doing this now, he can definitely become one of the elite halfbacks in the next few years. So yeah,
I
Jamie.
thought his first half was very underwhelming. Probably a bit of cobwebs there. A few passes went astray. Same with Bud Sullivan. A lot of ball hit the ground. It was quite frustrating the first half, and going into half time, we're thinking 14-0 down. Here we go again. Where's our points going to come from? But the other guy, I think we need to mention because he was a star of the show, wasn't he? And that's Latrell.
Oh mate, he was. He really turned it on when it needed to be. It was when it had to be the time to turn it on. Latrell Mitchell, that's probably one of the best games I've seen him play for us. Honestly, he took the game on, and when he does, he's a game breaker. He's a game changer, and that's why we have him. He's an X factor, and he proved that once again last night. The things he was doing, it was almost like a piss take. The try savers against Haas and Mariner, field goal, all that. That's why he's here. He's a game changer.
Well, a lot of people have been critical of his positional play at fullback, and I said it against Melbourne. I thought his positional play was so much better, and again last night he was there. Like there was a play in the second half where the ball went to Ben Hunt, and he was looking to kick on the open side, and Latrell started going in that direction to cover the kick. All of a sudden, Ben Hunt changed his direction, did a little kick. Latrell got himself there in front of the player, and it forced the Broncos player to knock on. Those sort of plays. But the one on Dean Mariner, it was game changing.
Yeah, and I was going to touch on that. I really think that was a game defining moment because if he scores that, well, Broncos run off with momentum clearly. But Latrell, he saved what 2 free tries last night. Mariner, Haas, and I believe there was one on Cobbo at some point. But yeah,
Yeah, well, he
Latrell,
saved several. Yeah, saved several. And
and,
even the one where Mariner scored, he was there in the corner and was almost able to stop it.
and that's what we like to see. Latrell involved in just about every play, and you see how effective he is when he is, and that's why he's at fullback because he's in every play and he's effective when he is.
Well, one area that's very underrated with the fullbacks and not really spoken about is the organisational skills of getting your defensive line right, especially close to the line. And our goal line defence last night was brilliant, and it was against the Storm, whereas last week I thought it was a little bit off.
Yeah,
Latrell has a very loud voice, so
yeah. I could literally hear him from where we were sitting. I could literally hear him. So you know that he's ordering the troops around. He's doing his role as he should. In our goal line defence, like you said, yeah, I thought it was our best that we've seen in a number of weeks. You can definitely tell the influence Latrell brings to the team. If the team just seemed much more, um, I guess, cohesive.
yeah. Well, I think we've held off long enough talking about it. That play. Let's go in depth to that play and the lead up to it. And Adam Reynolds, 40 metres out, he put a kick through. He kind of resisted going for the shot from there out a bit wider. The the ball bounced, awkwardly for Bailey Bentley Harpy. He was able to get out of the in goals and still get a few more yards, get a 10 metre. At that point, it looked like it wasn't going to happen. It was just going to be, well, this looks like it's going to be golden point for us. However, we rucked it up. I remember turning to Dingo 2 tackles beforehand, and I turned to him and I said, Latrell Mitchell's going to kick a 2 point field goal here. Dingo turned to me. He turned to me and he said, "Nah, we're too far out." I said, "Nah." Then the run by the very underrated run by Lockie Hubner. He
Oh
got
yeah,
us to the halfway line, and then a quick play of the ball. That was almost as big as the kick from Latrell himself. But as soon as it
well,
came off the boot, you just knew it was there.
for Hubner run, if he doesn't take that run, do we? It's it's moments like that in the game where, like I said, game defying moments. If that doesn't happen, does he get to field? Does that even happen? So it's important little things like that get us on the front foot and winning games.
100%. But what were your thoughts as soon as he kicked the ball? What were your thoughts?
Well, I honestly thought he was just going to go for a normal kick at first, and so did most of the team, judging from what they said in the presser. But when he kicked that, I had a feeling it was going to go just short, but it went over. It's one of the greatest, if not the greatest, field goals I've seen live ever.
Hmm. Oh, it was brilliant. You just and your reaction from him. A lot of people were confused. Even I've had people that were watching at home. And they thought, just watch how he turned around and went back. They thought, oh, he missed because of like they were saying, oh, he missed. So, but no, that was just his reaction. He seemed very focused from the get go, taking hit ups. With some of the defensive efforts there, he just seemed very focused. And once he kicked that, that was just unbelievable. The crowd went crazy. Everyone jumping around, hugging each other in the Burrow.
Yeah. Oh, I got my leg caught in one of the chairs, but it was worth it. Uh, well, you see, when he kicked it, Burrow went quiet just for a little bit when he turned back because we didn't know why he didn't. He didn't look too confident. He was just walking back like normal, but he kicked it. He knew he got it straight away. He didn't even look at it go over. He knew he's already got it, and
Well,
it's
everyone was jumping over him, and
crazy.
everyone was jumping over him. All the players, who I believe Jai just leapt as high as possible, and it was that.
Oh,
But it wasn't over then. It was still about a minute and a half to go.
yeah.
So Broncos are always going to do a short kickoff.
Yeah, and with the players they have, they're obviously very capable of going, 80, 70 metres down the field. They do a short kickoff, and I'm pretty sure, I forgot who grabbed it, but I know it was one of us.
Yeah,
And
Latrell's the one that grabbed it.
well,
He
there you
got the
go.
ball.
Another big moment from Latrell. I didn't even know it was
Yeah, it was
Latrell.
batted back. I think was it Campbell Graham that batted it back
From
and
memory, yeah, it
knocked
was
back,
Campbell
and then
Graham.
it was Latrell was there, and he took a big hit, and he actually patted the Broncos player on the head to kind of congratulate him on the big hit.
Yeah, yeah, you got rolled there, but got right back up, and well, what follows was history.
We went down the other end, trying to waste some time. Jamie Humphries, great kick to touch. We're thinking, okay, we've got about 3 or 4 tackles to defend. Then on play one, the Broncos pass the ball, and their player knocks it on. Jai Arrow's there to pick up the scraps and runs. We just feel like we're just rucking it just to waste time. And then the last play of the game, Latrell takes a knee. All the Broncos, I don't know what they were doing. They kind of walked away, turned their head. Billy Walters kind of went slowly to get him, and Latrell goes, "The try line's just there. I'll just score." And he scored one of the most cheekiest tries you'll see.
Oh, that's just it's smart, but it's also you can understand Madge's frustration with letting that in. Like,
Well, some of the players were looking bewildered at what guys like Payne Haas and Selwyn Cobble were doing, and it's quite funny because Selwyn Cobbo is walking back, and Latrell scored, and he's just, I think he was thinking that we're just celebrating that we won the game. I don't think he actually realised that he scored at that point.
well, I didn't even know that in the stands. I didn't even see him go over because you done that little cheeky stayed down and then just rolled over it, and everyone was cheering. I was like, "What's going on here?" And they put it on the screen. I'm like, "Oh, all right." And I've watched it back, and it's a smart play. It's a fair play too. I know people are complaining, but he was never tackled, so it's fair play.
No, it's I think they're complaining, saying it's poor gamesmanship. But
Well,
I guess if your name's Latrell Mitchell and you do that, there's going to be people that argue.
well,
So,
win the game at any cost. That's just how the game is.
oh yeah, and the thing that people don't realise is that had he just stayed down and surrendered without anyone tackling him, it would have been a voluntary tackle and penalty to the Broncos.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what people got to understand. So yeah, it was a very smart play by Latrell Mitchell, and that just puts still icing on what a he made. He produced that game to a T. He was so good, Latrell.
Hmm. I've just got a Jersey flag update there. It's just full time, and we end up beating the Silvertails 14-6.
All right, seems like a very defensive game out there.
Yeah, I didn't watch it, though. I just got the score update then. I've seen a few people comment that, again, Hayes and Miller's another outstanding game. So
Hazen
it's
Mellors,
only a matter of
yeah,
it's only a matter of time. He'll go back up to New South Wales Cup next
he's
week.
get he's getting close, Hazen. He dare I say this year, he's getting close.
Well, let's talk about the wingers that played. And I've been pretty critical of the wingers, especially Bailey Bentley Harpe, who especially I think it was against the Storm where he kind of had the ball stolen by Katala to score the try and basically break our hearts that game.
Yeah, that's.
I
Oh,
thought,
I'm with you. I've also been pretty critical of the wingers, but
I thought,
tonight, last night, I thought they did their jobs for most part anyway.
yeah, well just on Bailey Bentley Harpe, I thought that was his best game. And one stage he came off his wing unnecessarily. They made a line break, but he learnt from that. Uh, he didn't make any errors. I think maybe if he did, it was one error or something. But I thought he was very solid, and that's what we needed from him last night.
Yeah, and he certainly delivered Bailey Bentley Harpe. Yeah, I think it was only one error, and that was some point in the first half. Yeah, so I've also been pretty critical of Bailey Benny Harpe, but last night I thought he did his job, did what he had to do. Even that run out of that of the goal line was a pretty big moment in the game as well. So he's learning every game, and you can see it. He's growing in confidence every game. It's visible with how he's going, and obviously once AJ's back, he'll probably be the one to drop out. But
It's an
I'm
interesting
pretty
choice.
I'm pretty okay with him being back into the team as cover if need be.
We'll discuss next week's possible team a bit later in that. But Fletcher Myers, there was one error he made where he probably didn't position himself well enough and knocked on. Uh, Jamie Humphries had no choice but to dive on it in an offside position, which got him 2 points. But outside of that, I thought some of his runs coming off our own line were really good.
Yeah, I've actually been even last week when we lost. I thought Fletcher Myers, when he came on, he does add stuff. He's very quick as well, so that helps. And he does like to take those runs, Fletcher Myers, and he's a very quick winger, so his speed does help. I was very critical of Fletcher Myers to start the year, but the more I see of him this year, the more I'm okay with him.
Mm.
Uh, I think maybe defense still needs a bit of a fix, but outside of that, he's doing fine.
Well, Bailey Bentley Harpe made 138 metres. That'd probably be his best he's done in the NRL.
Yeah,
Um,
it would be.
Fletcher Myers 84, so they were valuable metres at times. There was times when we were stuck in our own end trying to get out. The kicking game, it's something that we've lacked over the last few weeks. Having Jamie Humphries back, his first kick puts it up, puts the spiral up. Cobbo's under all sorts, knocks it on. Latrell
Yeah,
did a couple later on as well, and those sort of things where we're getting results from kicks. We haven't been getting those over the last month.
and that's why he's a halfback, Jamie. He's kicking at one point during the season. He was leading the whole competition with kick meters, I believe. So to have him back in the game doing all that sort of stuff, it's going to get you those little results, but they're also very valuable results.
Yeah, well, the the top performer for you. Who was your top performers?
I could split it between two, but it's hard to go past Latrell Mitchell. Just the way he stood up in that game was incredible. The try savers, the field goal, the last try. He was he was my best player on ground. I thought, yeah, Latrell Mitchell for me
So
just has to be.
he's three. Who's your two?
My two is Keon Kalon-Matangi. I really like him at prop, like we said earlier. His go forward really helped us, and it also really helped to lay a platform, and that line speed was much more quicker. We're getting up the field much better than we have been the last few weeks to start the season, actually. So, yeah, count that prop. I'm a big fan of it.
And your 1 point?
Ooh, okay, it's between Lockie Hubner and Ewan Aiken. I'm actually going to go Ewan Aiken. I thought he had an underrated performance. He did all those little, quiet things, but he gets
The
through
one
it. And
percenters.
yeah, there's 1%ers, and that's something that I like in a player. So, Ewan Aiken, he did his job very well. I think he made over 40 tackles again. So,
Yeah, he
for
made 48 tackles.
Ewan Aiken in the second row, he's very comfortable there, and I think he's my number uh, one selection, Ewan Aiken.
Yeah, well, I can't disagree with the top two, and I tossed a coin and I come up heads, so I went Lockie Hubner for the one. I thought the way he handled Payne Haas was instrumental as well. So he really took control there, and I thought he ended up on top of Payne Haas last night.
Lachlan Hubner, and the thing is, he's been such a bargain of a buy for us this season. Obviously, when Cam Murray went down, it was panic stations. We didn't know. Well, we weren't really too familiar with Lachlan Hubner's game, and he's come in, and it just feels like it just feels like there's another Cam Murray there. He's doing all the things right, and he's been a
Yeah,
great pickup.
well, you're never going to replace Cam Murray, but what you can do is get a guy like Lachlan Hubner to come in and do what he's doing. It just really helps the side.
And he's made an impact last night, like you said, that run and handling arguably the best prop in the world in Payne Haas. It's massive for Lachlan Hubner's confidence, and that's why Wayne brought him down.
You talk about before about Ewan Aiken in the back row being in his best position there, and another one that went back to his preferred and best position was Campbell Graham.
Yes, stretch. You can see how much more comfortable he is there as well. He's
Mm.
when he was on
And,
the
and
wing.
defensively as well, like especially
Yeah,
defensively, how much that helps the players outside of him.
when he was on the wing, it just didn't feel like he was adding himself into the game as much. But in the centres, you can see that that's his main position.
Yeah, well,
So,
the centre is the one that has to make a lot of the decisions, and which helps the winger. Whereas when he's on the wing, the centre inside of him, who was it last week playing centre? It
um,
was it Tass inside of him,
yeah, I think so. Actually, yes,
and that kind of put them in all sorts there at a few times. So having stretch playing the centres just really helps our defence
it
out wide, and it
does.
does help the winger.
And he's one of the best defenders in the game on his day, Campbell Graham. He's an elite centre, so I think he has to wrap that spot up for the rest of the year. I don't think we should move him again unless necessary.
Well, 14-0 down at half time. What were your thoughts?
Oh, very pessimistic to be honest. I said to Luca, I said this is going to be 32-12 or something like that. It was it was 14-0 down to the Broncos, and because of all of our outs, I just couldn't see where we were going to get points. Maybe a couple from Latrell, maybe one from Humphreys, whatnot. But I didn't see us scoring 20 or anything like that. But I had some very pessimistic thoughts at half time, but I was gladly proven wrong.
Well, we got the win. I went up to the members bar after the game there, caught up with a few of the members up there and that, and it was just buzzing. You just know the difference between a South win and a South loss, and everyone was buzzing.
Yeah, definitely looked
My
like a
phone was blowing up.
good time.
I had messages everywhere. Get
Yeah, no,
home,
looked like a good time up there.
get home. I did the new thing where I got everyone's reactions after the game. You were very animated on that as well as
Yeah, I
a few
watched that
others,
back and I was like, oof. But in the moment, it was definitely
and
it was
that's
just
what it's more
unbelievable.
about. That's what that's all about, to get people's reactions and after the game, so we can share content to you, the viewers at home. Um, and it was just a good experience. Even myself, I was very excited after the win and so happy. You can hear it in my voice as well. Uh,
I think it's the happiest we've seen. Like, obviously, you take the Roosters game out of the equation.
mm.
It's for me, it tops the Dragons game at Wollongong because just the way we came back. I guess it was just
Mm.
we were lost for words at full time. We didn't know what to say because we just didn't expect that at all.
Well, I get home and my usual things, especially after a win, I want to look at everything on social media, do this, do that. I also had to edit the clips that I took of those um, post game reactions from everyone, so I could put it up for everyone to view today. If you haven't watched it, make sure you do watch us there on our YouTube channel.
Good reactions, funny too toward the end especially.
Yeah, and I didn't get to sleep until just after 4 in the morning. Then I was awake at 6:30 in the morning and had to go do a few jobs today. They've got the spa event with the coaches today. I had a ticket for that, but unfortunately I couldn't go. And one of the former coaches that's actually there today is Madge Maguire. I imagine it's going to be a bit uncomfortable for him after last night.
I'm sure there'll be some people ribbing him about it, but it's all in fun and games.
Look, one thing I know about Madge is he absolutely loves this club and it does hold a special place in his heart. So he'll definitely take it in good spirits.
But yeah, I just it, like Michael said to you in the Get to Know You podcast, it's something that a lot of us, particularly the younger guys, are going to look back in 10, 20 years and remember this game. Like, it's going to be stuck in our head for a long time because
Well,
it was just
it's
crazy.
funny. In the segment, getting to know our members, it's one of the questions I ask. What are some of the memorable games? And we remember the Roosters game where we scored two tries in the final minutes. There's the Nathan Merritt field goal from the sideline against the Tigers. Uh, there's so many games coming back from 28-4 against the Cowboys in 2008 to win, which is our biggest ever comeback. But those sort of games stick into it, and this would be another one that does stick in the memory of the
Yeah,
fans.
and this game's going to be one to remember for a long time because it was just more so how we did it with the outs we had and just the belief and this sort of mentality. I'm not going to say we're going to win a prem, but this sort of mentality in teams, it's what wins you comps. Is to believe to just keep fighting because if that was us last year, we probably just would have, in all brutal honesty, just given it up. This year, you see in the games, we just keep fighting, even if the game's done and over with. And that's what Wayne's really brought to this club, and that's what we wanted to see. And we're
Well,
getting,
there's been four games this year where it looked like we were out of it, but we come back and we won it in the last 10 minutes. That was the Dolphins, Dragons, Roosters, and now this game. So we weren't winning close games last year or the year before that, and
yeah,
finally
no chance.
we're winning these close games, which is huge.
And that's what gets you finals. These small little games, when you're in a tight situation, getting those 2 points, and obviously we've got the Tigers next week and then the bye, so that's going to be big for us. But yeah, these could benefit us in September.
Mm. Well, you had a crowd of just over 13,000 there last night. How did it feel for you out there? It was a very small borough. The rain didn't help.
Well,
What was your thoughts?
well, it kind of reminded me of Old Trafford. The roof started leaking, so that was a bit annoying. But yeah, I thought,
Poor Michael.
yeah, Michael, he got. I looked back and there was some rain on him. I was like, oh no, right on him. I remember saying to Cody before when we were entering the gates, I said, "This looks bigger than the line looks bigger than usual." And because I said to Cody, I said, "I think it's only going to be 7,000, 8,000 tonight."
Mm.
Um, it definitely felt more, but as the game went on, it felt a bit more. But at the start of the game, it was pretty. Didn't really feel like there was much of air. But the Burrow, especially with the banners, it felt like there was just more things, more.
Well, the atmosphere was certainly there, and
Yeah,
it was noted to me by Shannon Donato. He messaged me late last night and told me that he was proud of what we did last night and how he could hear us and all that. So we're doing our job and that, and the boys responded, which is great. And we kind of work off each other, don't we?
yeah. Obviously, you get the chance going, and everyone follows, and it's just a good time. And obviously, the boys on the field they feed off that, and that's been shown a lot this year. So
Well, we've
keep
played
it.
in front of some big crowds recently. There was a 65,000 against the Dogs. There was over 30,000 in Perth. Down in Melbourne for Anzac Day, I think 28,000. And last week it was, what was it, 40 something thousand,
Um,
close to 50,000 at Magic Round.
right.
So
Yeah.
this is definitely a drop in atmosphere for the boys. 13,000, and especially in such a big stadium.
Yeah, and that's why. like we touched on last week, well, that's why the move to Allianz will be so beneficial to us.
Well, that's about all about the game. We've got a few announcements. Sadly, a Burrow member, Pauline Smith, has lost her battle with cancer, known as Glocko. We at the Burrow, we send our condolences to all the friends and family, and you'll be missed there at the game. No doubt you're up above, watching down, smiling for that win. So
Yeah,
we
that
will
win
miss you,
last night.
Pauline.
That win last night, she definitely would have she would have cheered that on 100%.
Mm.
But we do send our condolences.
Now, there's a bit of a rumour popping up last week during the week about Brandon Smith coming over effective immediately.
Yeah.
It still hasn't been announced as of yet. Wayne did allude to say that he hopes it's done by the end of the weekend. What are your thoughts on him coming early?
Uh, I just I see it happening. I just can't see a world where he stays at the Roosters any longer. Just with everything that's been made public, especially his comments on the podcast, it just feels like it's going to be done by probably Monday. If I had to take a guess, everything's pointing to him to being at South this season. Um, and if he does, well, we welcome him. Obviously, it'll be a great addition to Cheese. He supported the club growing up, so that adds a lot to us fans. Yeah, look, it's a welcome addition, despite the fact that he still has another 6 to 8 weeks on the sideline. But
Hmm.
uh, he's not a player that should be sitting in reserve grade and waiting out his contract. So if he comes early, then that's fair enough.
No, well, the way I see it is beneficial to us to get him here early to get familiar with the play. So next year he can hit the ground running. It's certainly a great signing for us.
Right.
What that means for Pete, I don't know. I think Wayne will work that out, but it's a good headache to have, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it is a good headache. I'm of the opinion that Smith will play a bit of lock and maybe even prop at times.
Hmm.
If need be, he can slot into hooker, but judging by what Wayne's said about him, it just feels like he's going to be in the forwards majority of the time. Maybe even off the bench, as both parties have said they don't mind doing that. So
Yeah,
wherever
well,
he is more valuable, I'm sure Wayne will put him there.
we'll discuss that further, and hopefully by Tuesday when we do our team list
And
podcast,
maybe
that
by then he's
there'll be
announced
an
maybe.
announcement. Now, another announcement this week, and it's probably close to our hearts on both sides because we were the Bears were the feeder club for us for such a long time, and the amount of games that we've been taking games over to Perth since 2009, and only missing 2 or 3 years. So the announcement of the Bears coming back in the competition over in Perth. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's great for the game to finally bring a team to Perth. You know, I I'm of the opinion that it's an AFL dominated state, but every time a team goes out to Perth, you can see the crowd, they turn up. So they've been hungry for a team for a long time. And to have an iconic brand like the Bears represent their state, it's big for the game and it's big for the state.
Yeah, well, I've been over there every year we've played over there, and 2 years in a row we broke the record over. Back then it was called NIB Stadium. Uh, so we still hold the record there for that. And we played it off the stadium the last 2 times. We got 30 something thousand there. I think about 32 when we played the Cowboys. And 2 years before that, I believe the doubleheader got 40 something thousand. So there's definitely a fan base out there. And then to bring one game to be played over at North Sydney Oval, I really hope that it's against Manly. I I think that would be a great thing for the traditionalists of the game.
Well, that's what I think of it. Now, obviously, I've never actually seen the North Sydney Bears play live, but if they were to bring back the Bears and they had 1 or 2 games at North Sydney against Manly, that'd be great.
Yeah, well, seeing footage of some of their fans who I got to see a few of them when they were our feeder club. They were very passionate and still to this day keep going out following them. And just to see them in tears and happy, it just brought back memories of what it was like for us when we got back in the competition only just after only 2 years. So
Right.
it's a great thing for them.
We also remember the New South Wales Cup Grand Final where we played against the Bears. Their fans did turn out to Combank that day, so they definitely do have fans. And for the game's sake, it's great to see. And yeah, well done on getting the team back because I you know, Souths for a couple of years didn't have a team there, so I do feel for anyone that has to feel the same way. But it's great to have the Bears back. It feels right.
It'll be interesting because there's a lot of South Sydney fans over there, especially since we've been taking a lot of games over there. Uh, to have them now having a local team, be interesting to see what they actually do, whether they stick on to South and kind of have Perth as their second team or vice versa or whatever. But it's a big chance for them to get it right after the Western Reds were dumped only after a
Yeah,
couple of years.
I can see the Western Australian South fans maybe buying a Bears membership just to support the cause, which is fair enough, I reckon.
Hmm.
I know a few Queensland team fans did that with the Dolphins to be an inaugural member, but yeah, I can only imagine when South play the Bears over there eventually, it could sell out, so it'll be a good time.
Well, any Bears fans out there, old time Bears fans that jumped on board the South, or you got your people over in Perth that are South fans, let us know in the comments what your intentions are. Are you going to stick by us? Hopefully you do. Be really interesting to know what your thoughts are there.
Yeah, it would be actually because you, I can't imagine what it'd be like 25 years without your childhood team. You see, so
Yeah.
if they do
Well,
go
I
back,
know a few. I know a few fans that they come over the South when we got back in the comp that were North fans. So there was a good group of
right?
about 4 or 5 of them that I know, and um,
And this
I
is,
think they're going to stick with South, to be honest. But they're
and
definitely going to have a soft spot for the
I can
Bears.
kind of relate to it just due to family reasons. When Newtown eventually was out,
Mm,
a lot of my father's side went to South from Newtown.
yeah, but I think the thing is also I think a few of them feel like, well, while it may be the Bears, it's not the North Sydney Bears. I think that's their thing.
Yeah, and some would think that, and some are obviously of the opinion that it's the Bears. They're
You know,
back.
well, definitely the diehards that have hung on all these years going out to New South Wales Cup games will definitely feel that way, and so they should. They've got their
Yeah,
team back when it looked like they
and
were never going to have it back.
and congratulations, and we do look forward to crossing paths in the next couple of years.
Definitely. Well, next week we've got an event um, before the West Tigers game out at Campbelltown at the Beer Shed. The address is 4A Holly Lee Road, Lamia. Make sure you get out there. I've mentioned it before, but it looks like we've got Blake Sully that'll be a guest. Um,
Good stuff.
we're doing that with the Ambush, who's the West Tigers supporters group. We did it last year, and it was a lot of fun. We had a big crowd out there, so make sure you're out there and being part of it.
Yeah, the beer shed last year, good times. Met a couple of new people actually from it, so it's a good gathering, and you get two sets of fans as well. So it's going to be good banter, but it's going to be a good time. So yeah, get down there.
And it's a great little setup there in the warehouse there, the other side of Lamia Station. So it's only a short walk to the ground. You walk down the street, over the stairs from the station, and then you're at the ground. So it's definitely worth you been there.
Yeah, last year it only took us not even just about 5 minutes, so it's not a bad walk at all.
Well, next week we do play the West Tigers. It's a 6 o'clock Sunday night kickoff, and we had a loss against them last year where Cam Murray put a pass through to Davey Moali to score, but it was called back forward, which would have won us the game right on the bell. Unfortunately, it's not the case. How do you see this game?
It's going to be a tough game. I can tell you that the Tigers they're not pushovers. They will show up, especially in front of their home base. But last year we packed out our bay as well, so we'll be there. out in force as well. I can see this game being very close, but I can also see it being plenty of points, very high scoring.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
we are in the away supporters bay there. I'm not sure the exact bay. I think it was bay 24. I may be wrong there. But if you go onto Ticket Tech and you select the away supporters bay, you'll be where we are.
and yeah, I think this game will be tight. Obviously, they've got some really good players in their team now, like the additions of Jerome Luai, Terrell May. So they're going to give us a game, but I think we can also beat them. But it's going to be tougher than previous years, 100%.
Definitely, and you got guys like Api Coruscant, Lockie Galvin, who I thought last year carved us up when we played Jerome Buller at the back there as well. So
Great fullback, yeah. So
the good thing is
Tigers.
we got the bye the following week, which we've probably needed one with all the
So
players
it'd
out.
be good. Ideally, the ideal situation is we win on Sunday and go into the bye, but still got to get through that. But the Tigers, they're going to be a test for us. But it's a good test because it's at Campbelltown, packed crowd. I think this is our second time we've played them in Campbelltown since like '99 or something.
Yeah, well, we've actually never before last year we never played the West Tigers at Campbelltown. So that was last year was the first time we played the West Tigers. Back in '99, it was against the Western Suburbs Magpies.
So that's another round. That's another reason to come down if you unfortunately missed last year's. Campbelltown, it's an alright ground. I actually don't mind it at all.
Hmm. It's it's close here for a lot of people out in that area. So definitely, my partner lives out that way, and I'll tell you, there's a lot of South fans out there.
Oh yeah, from what I've seen, because sometimes when I work out that way, there's like South stickers on cars, and yeah. So I'm expecting the game to. I'll call it now. I think the game will sell out. I'm calling it now. I think it'll be a sellout.
Well, they do. A lot of their fans are starting to come back to the game, and so they should.
Yeah, they're in a
It's,
good position. So
they haven't. When was the last time they made the top eight? It was 2010, wasn't it?
2011, I'm pretty sure.
2011, yeah. So this is their best chance to make the eight. And there's definitely a belief there amongst their fans now.
Which is a fair credit to them. I can always give credit to a club where it's due when they've turned it around, and they look like they're turning a new leaf. And that's why I said earlier they're going to be a test for us.
Team changes. It looks like we've got AJ back. What do you see in the team changes?
Yeah, AJ back. I think Wayne said in the presser that well, he said he might, but that usually indicates he will. Yeah, so AJ back in. It adds, I guess, just more moral, more troops on the field. Obviously, he's chasing back records, so he'll be hungry to put the ball down a couple of times. Alex is always good. I know a lot of people say that he's lost his pace, but during that
I didn't
Penrith,
think you had. Yeah.
during that
Uh,
Penrith game, I thought he looked good until he got injured. So
hmm.
I'm expecting AJ to come back, do his thing. Even if he doesn't score a couple of tries, he still adds during the game. But he's going to be desperate to get a couple down. So I'm
Hmm.
backing AJ in for a double if he's back.
And what about Junior Satola? Do you see him making his way back into the side?
Oh, I do, and the reason why I think he does is I really think the only reason why he missed out is because he had a virus earlier in the week, and Totola, he's just not a player you leave out your side.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what they do because who makes way after that the other day?
Yeah, that's the thing, and it's a good headache to have. I'd imagine he could come off the bench with Dave and Mawali, but then that would mean Kepi drops out or something. So it's a great headache to have, but it's
Or Liam, but I wouldn't be dropping Liam. I thought, especially against the Knights when he came on, he just tightened up that ruck for us. And
Liam
even
LeBlanc.
even
Yeah,
last night, yeah, even
big
last night
fan of
he won us a few penalties.
big fan of Liam. Yeah, he just likes to do all that scrappy work, that textbook tackle. So yeah, I'd love to keep him in the 17.
Well, no doubt we'll be discussing the teams on Tuesday, and once Wayne selects them, it's just great. I just hope that he leaves who's Keon and Jai as the starting front rowers. I thought that really worked. And
Yeah, I wouldn't change the recipe that one like that. That was incredible, and a lot of that came off the forwards this time round. So
anyway, that's all we've got time for. Again, we apologise for the difficulties that CJ's had with his camera not working. Um, Hopefully that next time it gets fixed, but at least you can hear his thoughts here.
yeah, so I think I'm going to start using a laptop from now on. That way, there's no problems next time.
Well, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're really enjoying putting these out to you guys. We hope you enjoy it. Make sure you do leave your comments and that. Uh, we'd like to hear your feedback. But any last thoughts, CJ?
Yeah, thanks for having me on here, Josh. Last night was great, and like, comment, subscribe, and bring on next Sunday.
I'm your host, Josh, and I'm joined here by CJ. Go the Rabbitohs.
After Rabbit.
South Sydney! South Sydney!